I was so moved by that, so I just want to thank you guys for that moment. Some of you may not know, but my name's Jessica Dann, and I've been a member of this church for about 20 years. And even if you do remember me, there may be little parts that you could witness that you might have realized, or you don't know, but I suffer from several mental disorders. And because of this, I go through extreme emotions, and they become so intense that they start hurting my physical body. And in that moment where my entire body hurts, it's sometimes temporary and sometimes permanent. So I get injections throughout my whole body because of these extreme emotions. And you wonder kind of why that pain is so intense. But then I realized that it was these moments of extreme suffering that has built my understanding of man and how each person needs support. The biggest killer is mental health, and there are many things that can turn mental health deadly. Whether it is sickness that keeps coming with no end in sight, or loneliness that you feel like you'll never get out of. Knowing these moments all too well, living each day looking for a sign to continue to live or choose to die. You realize that every word you say to every person you see could save a life, and you have no idea. You have no idea who you're facing. In Genesis 50, verse 20 says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Amen. Amen. It's such a strong quote right there, and it means so much to me. So how can I have gratitude, knowing that I not only have one mental disorder, but several that make me legally disabled? Why would I have gratitude in these moments? So I asked myself, why did Jesus even come to earth? What was his commandments? He wanted to bring heaven to earth. And the whole point of Jesus coming is to teach us to love the way he loved, without judgment. Never. Jesus never saw the drunk. Trust me, I was there. He never saw the gambler, the prostitute, the liar, or the brokenhearted as less than. He never once judged them. He loved them, and not only did he love them, he told them that they were worthy of that love. It gives me the desire to truly help people that are suffering. Throughout my life, I have suffered under many scenarios that many would turn a blind eye to. They would dehumanize that moment that I would have gotten there, and they'd say that they would never do that. But because I know that we are all children of God the second we are born, I know you have no idea what you would have done when your life led you to the point where you had no options left. And I see that person, and I know the way that Jesus would see that person. I realized being down so low and God bringing me back, I got the gift to love without judgment. And I would never look down where I was or could have been. I only go and I lend a hand and I lift them up. And through all of the suffering that has caused me to lose my ability to stand for long periods of time, that has gotten me into, suicidal ideations I've attempted a few times, the struggles I have gone through, I realized in that moment, I grew the ultimate strength, which was the one purpose that Jesus had, to bring heaven to earth and to love your neighbor regardless of what they've done. And it's so important. You never know. You can't ever say that. And it's hard for me to come back up and down. And Colossians 3:23, "Whatever you do, work at it with all of your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. It is not your friends who may judge. It is the Lord Christ." Every day where you feel like you should look down on a person because of social norms, you are serving the Lord and not society, and you can remember that. And that's a gift that you grow, and it's sometimes a gift you grow through pain. So this passage reminds me of all of you. Because Jesus called us and commanded that we first love the Lord above all, but most importantly, to love your neighbor as yourself. And to quote Jesus directly in Matthew 25:40, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Jesus never lied. That wasn't a thing that he did. Everything he said and he meant. And that is the biggest purpose. And it is so hard to not judge. It is. It's one of the hardest things you can do. But today, I thank God, because even during times of suffering, because we know that in those moments, God is with us. God comes down to exactly where you are. And in this room of women, every woman in the Bible, they didn't have to climb a mountain. They didn't have to do any tricks or tribulations like the men did. He came down to the women where they are, because women were able to open up and be humble in spirit. And that is our biggest strength, is being humble in spirit. And that way we can have these moments of pain where he comes to us, and God is there, and he has a plan to turn that suffering into a gift, to save many lives. But don't just thank God once you've realized that you grew this gift and that you grew it in the midst of extreme pain. Instead, let's thank God when you're in the pain. Thank God that he has honored you to be a part of his plan. In that moment, he's investing in you to go through the struggle and grow. He is with you. So he is thinking of you. He is investing in you. And you are a vital part of his plan in that moment of suffering. And in that moment, we should be grateful for the gift that he is about to grow in you. And that is gratitude. Honestly, this is a great group of women. You guys are clearly the perfect ones for this message. You're loving in spirit.